Welcome. I'm glad that you're back again this week. I hope you enjoyed last week's meeting when we talked about the hypnozoids. Today, we're going to be talking about Robojo, who is kind of like Joseph, the main character in the story. It's kind of like his avatar. So when Joseph goes into his imagination to try to solve the problem, he becomes Robojo. So we're going to talk about his role in the story and why it's important. And I have here with me as well my fabulous illustrator, Joe, who's done the background here on my Zoom screen. And also you'll see all of his fantastic artwork when I start sharing my screen as we go through the story again. So Joe, do you want to tell a little bit more about your role in this project?
Sure. So when Nan and I were discussing the story, and what I like to do, which is kind of try to capture just kind of like the basic essence of the characters, but we didn't really have anything for Robojo. Like Robojo wasn't even a thing when we were first talking about it, but then we started talking about an extension of his big feelings. And so I started thinking, well, big, what could represent big with Joseph? So since I'm a huge Iron Giant fan, and growing up, I watched like Ultraman and anything with robots and all that, that was just intrigued me. So I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool to have a robot that was a representation of Joseph's big feelings? And so I just took robot and Joseph and came up with Robojo. And from that, we came up with Robojo. Kind of sounded like ninja robot, so that's kind of where I came up with the little bandana look to Joseph and Robojo. And so it just kind of went from there. We just kind of built on that. And so you'll see in the book that Robojo also, when he goes in the fighting pose, there's more of kind of like a karate pose when he meets the hypnozoids. So there's a little, martial arts element in there as well. And it's kind of like more Ultraman than anything. So, but yeah, so Robojo, like Nan said, is Joseph's avatar. And Joseph has what I call, it's getting more commonly known as a haptic suit. So you get he gets haptic responses from Joseph. So meaning the suit, he feels what Robojo feels and vice versa. So in the book, you'll see that when Robojo is captured by the hypnozoids, Joseph feels that. And so everything has a lot to do with feeling. So that's what I was trying to capture. Not a whole lot of text when he's doing battle, but I just wanted the drawing to kind of capture what Joseph was experiencing without having to use words. So that's kind of the basis of it.
Yeah, and that's what makes it great, having no text. Because when I use it for therapy with the kid I'm working with, I can use it with all the kids. It applies to every single situation with the kids I work with. And it's really, really powerful. I used it yesterday with an older boy, and he read the story himself and completely followed it, even without the words. He knew exactly what was going on. It applied to him. So it's really, really valuable. It's one of my best tools, actually. So let's get started with the story on my screen. And here is the book. So here's the title. Has a little surprise at the end to tell you about Chen and Robojo, something he's been working outside of this book project. Spaceman Sam, last week we talked a little bit as the hero for Joseph. He helps Joseph learn about his big feet. And today, a lot of people have been hearing interoception, which is how do we feel inside bodies? What signals do we get that help us know, oh, I should do something with that feeling, it's a message. Maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should help. So that's the first thing to get kids to understand is there's something inside of us that give us a prompt to do something with that feeling. And so the story, you'll see in the big story, their story, you'll see these 4 parts play out. Also, you'll see it play out within the imagination story that Joseph does. So it serves as well as it's just what Space Fam teaches the kids, like have that message in your body. And what should I do with it? I should let someone know, because feeling maybe is too big for me to handle my own, so I could get help from a grown-up. Then the comment part is what strategy you use. A lot of parents and teachers know about the idea of deep, but I've asked kids to give me ideas of that, of like 50, 70 ideas of ways that they personally feel like they calm. And actually on the website, there's a called The Badges of Power. There is a place you can go and get your own gauntlet, which you'll see in the story, and print it out and let your child fill in the blanks for the little squares for their own comet ideas. Some of the kids, instead of writing the words, will want to picture there of something that they are imagining, used to help them with their regulation. And then once that all has, which can take the majority of the time when it's about something, then the child can start thinking, oh, how can I solve this problem? So that's what's going to play out in the story. Here is our action, dedication, and Joseph and Gretchen. Gretchen and really like watching Spaceman Sam. It's their favorite show, and Joseph even says, "Space is the best, right, Gretchen?" He loves it so much that he just spends his time to be Spaceman Sam. And all these videos, you can see that. So all is well, and announces that it's time to get ready for bed. And that's when everything falls apart. It's upset. So the key here is, look at the bottom, like, look at his big reaction, which a lot of kids relate to. And in my case, they can identify with those big feet. And the part that really matters the most, I think, is this part with the mom and knowing her response is going to help. So that's why it's so calm. If she's centered, balanced, and able to manage her own big emotion in the moment, then she's going to be able to help Joseph. And so in this case, she's able to talks to him about his big feelings, and you can see that she is gradually getting more engaged with him, and he's accepting it. So as he accepts her words and understands that she did, he starts to calm. You can see the colors in the background to how he's moving from really up all the way down to calm enough to be able to think about what could. So this is where he launches into his big imagination. So this is a valuable part of the story when children can be a hero. There's so many things that can happen that are beneficial developmentally. One is they can explore their imagination safely. Just like with this story, they can go the process of seeing what happens to Joseph in a way that feels safe to them. Because it's not directly their difficulty, is Joseph's, but they can learn from Joseph. So learning about right and wrong, learning about how to express their emotions, learning about positives, which you'll see at the end of the story, learning about how to solve a problem and believing in yourself. All these things through the imagination that he do. And so in this picture, you'll see Robojo right here. And I talked about the hypnozoids. And the hypnozoids, as aptly described last week, they are really what we struggle with. And adults, how do we manage to defeat that hypnozoid, which to us is something that might be hard for us that we don't, but we need to do it. For a child, it might be turn off the TV, it might be not wanting to do homework, it might be not wanting to pick up toys, anything that they're doing that they like and have to switch something that they don't like, but they're to do. So that battle inside, how do I do that? Most kids, many kids don't have that ability to switch gears like that and to stop something and to move on easily. But also a lot of kids just don't have the support, know what to do. They just haven't had the skills in that area. So they really do need study to help them. So in this case, he does have his mom, but in the imagination, who plays that role of helping him learn, manage those big feelings and be able to and feel good about himself in the end. So this is where he talks to Gretchen, says, let's go, Gretchen. And so he's got a haptic suit on, the blue part here on his space, and off they go. So now he's technically Robojo. And see at the beginning of the story, Robojo's eyes are blue, mouth is blue, meaning he's in control. He got it. He knows what he's going to do. Then he steps out of his rocket and he meets the hypnozoids. And they're super powerful, just like our desires for things to just keep watching the video or to just stay in bed a little bit longer. Those are really hard to say, oh, I'm going to put that aside and do what I'm supposed to be doing, because that's what I'm asked. And so it's a big battle. So the hypnozoids are with their hypnotron ready to deal with Robojo, and he's all set to do it. It turns out to be harder than he expects. The hypnozoids are very young, and so it takes a lot of power for Robojo to resist that draw to something that feels really good. So you can see the hypnozoids, did manage to sort out its hypnocables and wrap up Robojo. So now this is also, as you can see with Joseph, the same thing that happens to him. This is the feeling that kids have when they're having, like, I'm helped by my big feelings. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of paralyzed. I don't know how to move forward. I need help. Fortunately, Gretchen is here to help. And notice that she's trapped by the hypno cables. She's like mom. She's staying calm. She's going to be the voice of reason. She's going to who can handle this. Joseph handle this. One of the other things that is a value is teaching that something might be really hard for somebody. A parent can help a child understand. We'll get through it together, and there will be and see that we can handle this. You've got a part. It matters. I see the struggle having, and I'm going to help you, and you'll be okay in the end. You might not end up what you really want, but you're going to be able to get this and grow from it. So you can see, Robojo has fallen. This is what I like, kids throwing themselves on the ground, having a tantrum. Same thing, just completely out of control. And again, you can see the mouth. And it's very difficult to be in that position. And it's really easy to continue to be under the control of the hypnotron. See what happens here is we're just talking about those interoceptive feelings that he gets inside of his body. I don't like that words are controlling us, controlling me, Gretchen. It makes my head feel funny. So most I work with do talk about a play body where they feel the big, it might be most often it's someplace very specific in their head and in their chest or their stomach or their hands, body, but mostly it is the head. So that's why I use that in the story about his head feeling funny. And so I guess where Spaceman Sam's messages come in, like, okay, what can we use? What can I do to help you? So Jen is trying to offer support. She's staying calm. She's trying to be the one who is with him and lets him know, I'm right with you. You matter. I'm going to help you. I'm present with you. I will look at this together. And that really makes a difference with mental health when somebody feels like somebody there to help them. So the gauntlet I was mentioning earlier, Joe has made blank one of these that kids can fill out. And these are the little 9 they have for deciding what kinds they could use. And I've got a little, well, I'll show you that in a minute. This picture right here, I have kids draw something in that box that demonstrates what their future self to look like or feel like. And so I want them to imagine they can come through this, and how will they feel? What will it be like for them? Can they imagine them being in that position if they use tools? So this is one of my favorite pages. I love Gretchen's look of determination on her there. And then she sees everything from her aerial view and knows what she needs to do. So Robojo, again, is completely helpless. And I think that many of the kids I'm with, when they are having a big upset, this is what they feel like. I don't know. And I've had kids in my clinic say to their parents, just help me. I don't like how this feels. And every worker says, I don't like how it feels. I don't want to be those tantrums. They do need help from a group. And so Gretchen comes to help, and she knows exactly where to go on the head of to help help him control. So here she is at the willpower door. She uses her paw scanner to open. I love Joe's sound effect. Can you make it, Joe? The tunk sound. He's great on the website. He's got a great audio version of us telling the story, and so he's got all these sound effects, so it makes a really good one. Can you do it or not, Joe? Oh, you're in a public place, so okay, I won't embarrass you to ask you to do that. But anyway, so she flips on the willpower button, and kids don't seem to be very familiar with that term. So I actually have a willpower button here that kids can play with. And it is the idea of, what could I do? Like, really, kids tell me, all ages, I know I'm going to have to do it, but it's just really hard getting there. So they all know, but they don't seem to know the word willpower very much. And we as adults know willpower. We have to use willpower a lot in our life. It is a skill that we have to develop over the years. And it's not easy. Nobody thinks that willpower is great fun, but it is what we use to be able to do things that we consider to be hard. So this is where the benefit of Gretchen flipping on the willpower switch is that now Robojo's screen, his shield is coming down. So with kids, when I'm doing this with them, I let them put on my shield like this, so they can pretend in the same way. And then also the laser beam comes out of Robojo's head. And so I let them use this little laser beam that I have. They could put it on their finger and pretend it's their laser beam that can zap all of the cables that are on Robojo. And now they can experience some freedom, because he's no longer being hypnotized by the hypnocables, by the hypnotron, and he's no longer held captive by the hypnocables. So he truly has freedom and some free will also to be able to think, what do I want to do? Now he can start thinking, oh, I have some choices now of what I'm going to do. And he can start thinking what he's going to do. This is the problem solving part. What will I do to overcome, to defeat the hypnozoids? And kids come up with really fun ideas of things that they can do. And they do want, like one of the most fun ones is like keeping points. Like, oh, I scored 5 points against the hypnozoids and they got no points. They like to play that game and keep track of it. And it's something fun to carry over at home also. And just to keep that idea going of every time you just consciously make the decision to do something that someone's asking you to do, and that you know eventually you're going to have to do it, then let's celebrate it somehow. Like, yay, your brain is growing. So Robojo is standing here in his power pose, and he's feeling pretty good about himself. So again, pretty bad. He did a hard thing, but the hypnozoids are not very happy about it. And they don't go down easily because that same temptation to want to keep watching TV is going to be there again tomorrow at bedtime. So he's going to have to fight them again. But every time he fights them, of course, he gets better at it. And at the end of the story, there's a poster that says, tomorrow I will be a day older. Tomorrow I will be a day more practiced. And tomorrow doing hard things will be just a little easier. So it is true. Kids get used to things. They have to do it over and over and over again until it feels automatic, until it begins to feel like it's part of a routine. It's just something that I do. And so that it will be hard for a while, but eventually it becomes easier. So he's congratulating his team for getting him everything back in order. And now Joseph doesn't need to go into his imagination at this point because he's back in control. You can see Robojo has blue eyes and a blue mouth. And so he and Gretchen, there's a thumbs up with both of them. And Gretchen's doing her little dance of being super happy that she was able to be of help to Joseph because they're best buddies. And so she wants to be there for him and support him. So here she comes back in, fully anticipating a great reunion with Joseph. And there he is. He has that great reunion. And now you can see Robojo is back in control here, back on the panel. The hypnozoids are not so happy anymore. And all this time, Mom in real life has been there also. So they're congratulating each other. And then he comes back to real life and his mom is supporting him and helping him learn. This is something that's a really valuable tool when you can narrate the story for the child and help them learn in ways that are framed very positively and in ways that help their mindset be one of a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. And so she's telling him, walking him through the steps from Spaceman Sam. So she's using an interest of his to relate to him about what happened with his big emotions, how he got through that. So she's reminding him, like, first, yeah, we saw it in your big body. Remember, you were really upset and you were letting me know about that. And then we talked about it. And you were able to calm down enough to be able to go into your imagination. And there you were able to actually solve the problem. And so then he shows how he actually has decided to solve the problem. In his imagination, he can be turning off the monitor. And in real life, he can actually be turning off the TV. No problem is truly what I see with kids. They do need to go through those steps. They do need to have someone there supporting them. They need to know that they are not alone in that moment. And then when they go through the steps and they take the time, there's no pressure, then they truly can get to that solving the problem stage and feel like it's truly no problem. Just do it. So his mom helps him grow and learns, she talks to him about how his brain grew from that experience. She reviews with him again, like, remember how you were really angry at first? And then because I stayed calm with you and stayed present with you, I had your back, you were able to calm and be able to think about ways to solve the problem. So he's recalling, yeah, I did solve the problem. I turned it off. I remember how it felt. He's in the same pose as Robojo, and he's feeling like he can handle it again tomorrow when his mom asks him. Here you get to see Robojo, where he gets his big ideas about Robojo, and Robojo's getting charged up there, and his mom's making a little joke about being charged up by getting his sleep. And then in the end, there's the poster I mentioned, and there's Joseph feeling like, I did it. I did something really hard. And because he's science oriented, he's using the word the phrase mission accomplished. And he's got his little spaceman Sam that was hidden behind his pillow here. And then his rocket ship, which again is where you get the idea like, oh, no wonder he's imagining this story like that. And you can also see a little bit up close, Robojo's all blue. And he is, Joseph in real life is all blue also. He's in control. He's feeling good about himself. So, Joe, I kind of talked through that the whole time. There's lots of more things about Robojo. Do you want to share some more things about your drawing? And I have some more things I wanted to share also.
Sure. I'll make it quick. But can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, with Robojo, I wanted to make him really, like, with the whole story, and like when I was thinking about like character design for Robojo, I really wanted him to be made out of really super basic shapes. So his head is a square or a box, and then the upper part where the laser comes out, just like half of a ball, and then the rest of his body are either cylinders or a rectangle, or something half circles for his shoulders. And so that way it would make it easy if kids wanted to draw him. It was like very easy to do that. So, and then on our website, we do have a how to draw Robojo worksheet. And Nandy, do you want to bring that up or not really? Or you can just go to the website?
Yeah, go to the website because I don't have it available right now. I do have this available to show. So this is on the website, and how I use it is I let kids draw a color Robojo's head themselves. Once they've heard the story and understand what the colors mean, then I can have them show me themselves with their own Robojo head what color they're feeling. And then we can talk about how to get from, for example, orange or yellow, whatever color you call that, back to blue again. And, or if it's green, like hypnotized, that doesn't usually happen in a session with me, but it could. But at home, kids maybe on a screen might feel a little like that, or when they're not getting what they want. And so how can you get from that to an orange and then to blue again? And that's again where the adult presence is going to be really valuable and helpful for a child to be able to make that shift back to being emotionally regulated. But go ahead, Joe.
You pretty much covered everything. There's really not too much to add about Robojo other than, can we talk about the next book, Nan, is with
yeah, but
Brainstorm?
I just want to show some of the work that kids have done with Robojo.
Okay, sure. That's good.
In addition, because I was playing off of what you said about, there are step-by-step drawings that you've made for kids. Kids really, really like to do that. And kindergartners, preschoolers, they all give it an attempt because they really like the characters. They're very approachable for them, I think. And the way that Joe set up the step-by-step drawings, they feel like that they can do that. So even though these aren't the step-by-step drawing examples that I pulled up here, these are just things that kids have done. They've been inspired to do. They're not done with me. This one over here on the left is a boy who made a I mean, it's a kid-size version of Robojo that he made at home on his own out of paper and probably some cardboard. And then the other one is just,
Nan, I don't think we can see that.
oh, really?
Yeah.
But you saw the
I
Robojo
still-
head?
No, all I see is the mission accomplished, the last page.
Did you see the Robojo head? Did you see this one? No, with Robojo head?
Mm-mm.
You're not seeing that? Mm. I'm not sure how to change it. Well, on the website, you'll see all of these.
Okay.
These things. So the idea was just if you are on kids ready to do things creatively on their own, the things that kids have done on the website. Joe, go ahead and let's talk more about what you were about.
Oh, I wanted to say for the next book, and it's called Mission Brainstorm, where we get to see a little bit more about what makes Robojo tick. So we really kind of get a kind of like an inside view of Robojo's brain. Is that what? I mean, is that okay to
really
say,
fun.
man? I'm not sure. Yeah. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yeah, we've got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
We've been working, it's not finished yet. And kids do ask, is there going to be more? When are they going to come out? And you can see in this on this page that are some of this characters and some future stories. So those are fun to work with. And Joe has shared some of those dragons with me, and they're fantastic. They're really fun. And they all have their own personality and purpose in the story. So I think what we could do, unless you have more to share, is talk about what's coming next. And Gretchen is who we'll talk about next week. Gretchen is a real dog. She belongs to my niece, and she lives in Alaska. And I've known Gretchen for a long, long time, and she is like the best. I really love her personality. And when I read this story to kids, I've got Gretchen in my head, and it's part of what makes me feel joyful in doing this project with Joe and sharing it with kids. So we'll talk about that next. And then next week, same time, same place, same Zoom link. And then also on the 17th, I didn't mention this last week, but we wanted to share with you that there will be a day where we can meet and you can learn more about Joe and me. And it'll be an opportunity to ask questions, and we'll be available to answer them. And not just about us, but about any of the things that we've talked about so far. So hope to see you again next week. And you can learn a lot more about Gretchen. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.